look at your budget, look at where you stand, really get to know your numbers. Hi, it's Elena of Financialdemics, and let's head to my desk. Okay, so we're at my desk. You know, I always say, let's go over to the desk. And we're talking about understanding your current financial situation. So in a lot of my videos, I say, make sure you understand where you currently stand. And a lot of times I explain it, but I kind of want to put it on paper so you can see it's not that difficult. It is not something where you got to have a special layout. All you probably really need is hopefully you have access to your accounts online. If not, then you might have to use like previous bills that you've received, and then be able to access your information. Paper and pen. You literally could do this with paper and pen, but we're just gonna use this iPad because this is what we have here for now. Okay, so anytime you're looking at where you stand financially, the first thing I always tell people to do, always, is I always start with the balance in your checking account, because I just think it's so much easier, right? So if you have a checking account, if you don't have a checking account, you're gonna have to look at what cash you have. If you're working towards getting a checking account, like you need like second chance banking or something like that, I would see if you can maybe start with like a prepaid plan. Like there's some companies that'll give you like a debit card to work with, and they'll do different things that way. I know you can set up direct deposit using Cash App and have money come into your Cash App account. I know that you can use like Wood Forest Bank. Those are normally in the Walmarts. I know they offer second chance banking. I know T-Mobile Money is out there. I'm not sure about their process, but just trying to give a few ideas, especially if you're in a hard place and you're looking to, you know, get your finances back on track. First thing is you want to do is, what is the balance in your checking account? And don't talk about my handwriting. I ain't trying to make it pretty. I told you I have some days are good and some days not so good. I'm going to make up some numbers because I'm just trying to set examples, right? So today is actually right before payday. So let's just throw out there $300. And then you also want to look and see what the balance is in your savings account. If you're a person with more than one bank account, at least that's how I operate, then you may have to look up a couple different accounts, but you can just aggregate them. I just write them all out and then I add them up. But you know, you can do whatever works for you. I'm just going to say $100. I'm keeping it real simple, but we know how I feel about savings. Okay. All right. So you want to know what's in those accounts first. I don't know why, that's the way I am. I like to know the balance. Then what I like to do is try to determine what your income is. So I typically look at income, even though I paycheck budget. When I'm looking at income, I mean your income on a monthly basis, because you live month to month in real life, right? Now, I live paycheck to paycheck, as far as I'm not paycheck to paycheck financially, but the way I budget is paycheck to paycheck. But when we're looking at income, we're going to look at a monthly basis, and then we break it down paycheck to paycheck. So how much is your income? Like, how much do you get paid every month? And sometimes you may have to look at it in a way where you are getting paid like, okay, well, maybe I get, I don't know, let's say 2,000, because I'm just trying to keep it easy round numbers, 2,000 every paycheck. Or maybe I get 2,000 every month. So you just got to look at what the breakout is. All right, so now that you have your income, right, the next thing to do is look at, and I will say, if you're a person who works hourly and maybe you don't work 40 hours a week, but maybe you have the same amount of hours on a weekly basis, then you can kind of give an approximation based off of your previous paychecks of about how much you should have. It doesn't have to be perfect or exact when it comes in putting in income. What I like to do is, if you're not sure, go lower, don't go higher. Okay, if you go higher, then when you're not hitting that number, you're going to be discouraged, but then also you may be setting yourself up. So just go a little lower. So that's basically, what I do. And actually, I do that period. So the amount I make will never be the amount you see me budget, because all money has their own purpose. And so I do that on purpose so that I'm not spending all my money on bills. And I learned that really early when I found out that unemployment, at least in the state I lived at the time, unemployment had only paid 50% of what you used to get paid. So I try to live that way. So then you total up all your expenses. Now, of course, you would list out your expenses. I'm just going to list out a few just for, example. Of course, you would list out your expenses. Let's say rent. Let's put, I don't know why I'm playing. I'm trying to keep it simple. And I'm adding in numbers that are not going to be simple, right? Let's start with the stuff that's going to really cover where you live, right? So you have rent, you have electric or gas, right? Whatever you estimate that to be, I'm just going to say $100. You may have water. Everybody doesn't have water, but you may have water. I think I'm going to stick with that for utilities. And then let's see, you need food. I'm going to put 140. And that's probably too low right now with the way food prices are, but I'm just trying to make it make sense. And then let's just say that, you have a phone. That's 40. And then, I don't know, let's throw in, trying to see where we at. Let's see, 1200, 1340, 1380, 1420. I want you to have some money left over. Let's just say car. Let's say your car paid off. So we just gonna say car insurance. Look, I'm trying to help you out here. I'm just picking numbers though. So just, know that my numbers are not fully realistic. Well, it might be depending on the person, right? So what did I say we had? We had 1100, 1200, 1340, 1490, 1530, 1570. I hope that's the number. Let me write it down. All right, so 1570. So if that's 1570 and your income is 2000, then you have, what is that, 430, right? That's important. That you have, actually, let me hit undo because I'm making that harder than necessary. So that's important that you have 430 left over after your expenses for the month. The next thing that you want to look at is what is your balances on all of your debt. So that's when you want to bring your debts into play, right? So maybe let's say you have, we didn't put them in your expenses, but let's see, you don't have a car payment, we said. Let's say you do have a student loan right now, right? Because student loans aren't being paid right now. So we can kind of use that as the best example. And let's say that maybe your student loan payment is, I don't know what a student loan payment would be for this. Let's say you have an income repayment plan. So maybe your student loan is somewhere around $50 a month. Yeah, let's do that. That seems realistic. That 5 look crazy. Let's just erase the whole thing. Let's say that that's the only debt you have is your student loans, right? So you also, instead of writing this down, I will say that if you connect your accounts to mint.com, I'll link it below. Mint will pull in all your transactions and will group them. Some you'll have to correct, right? Because sometimes Mint's not sure exactly what something is, but they'll really show you how you truly spend your money. So you don't necessarily have to do this, but if maybe you're in a place where you don't want to do that right now, or you don't have all your passwords, but you have, you have an idea, you can do this on your own on a scrap sheet of paper. Because I used to do this all the time on a little side piece of paper at my desk, like running my numbers. So now you know where you are. You have a student loan that is $50 a month. You have $430 left over, but you always feel like you don't have money left over. But now you see you do. So you got to figure out what's happening, like where are you spending your money. I also think it's really important to look up your credit score, right? This is why. You'll probably hear me say this a few times. I believe if you're not rich or make a lot of money, and I know that's subjective, but when I say a lot of money, I mean like you can pay for your cars in full when you buy them. You can pay for your house in full when you buy them. If you're not in that position, you need some type of credit, because when you're turning on utilities or you have to move suddenly or something happens suddenly, you may need to use your credit. Like they run your credit to turn on your utilities. Okay, so I'm big on figuring out what your credit score is. So the highest credit score you can have is an 850. I'm just going to put that you have a 700, right, in this case. But if it's below this, or even if you have a 700, you're on that goal for the 850, like the 800s to 850s to be as perfect as possible. So, like, okay, I need to work on my credit. But this right here is basically a small version of like where you stand financially. You should also write down if you're behind on any bills. So, am I behind on any bills right now? So I'm going to put caught up on bills, because things happen, okay? And I don't play in that fake world that things don't happen. Things happen. Maybe you forgot about a bill. A bill is new to the lineup. Sometimes when bills are new to the lineup, you forget those bills exist. Maybe something happened and you thought the payment went through and you didn't hit submit. Things like that really do happen in the real world. Or if just, maybe you didn't have any income for a while, and so now you have some income. So now that like, okay, am I caught up? Yes or no, right? Okay, who do I owe? Oh, that looked crazy. We over here struggling. Can you tell I don't use my Apple Pencil a lot? And then how much? Okay. So that's things that you need to know, and that basically tells you where you stand. Because if you do owe somebody, in this case we don't, if you do owe someone money, like maybe let's say you was behind on your electric bill, right? Maybe you owe them an extra $50 or something. You have that money. You can go ahead and pay them. You see that money does exist, right? Sometimes it's just us sitting down and actually writing down everything we have, everything like what we owe, to see like, oh my goodness, I do have money. So maybe when you do get paid, you go ahead and figure out at what point do you pay them. You know what I mean? Like if you owe them 50, maybe it's that you don't give them the whole 50 the first paycheck, just depending on how your finances flow. But maybe the second paycheck, when you have less coming out, go ahead and send them the $50. So those are things that knowing where you stand financially helps you do. And then it also helps you figure out, like in this case, you have $430 left over every month. Okay, I have $430 left over. What do I want to do with this $430? Can I put this towards my goals? And so that'll be the next thing that we talk about, is your financial goals and how to create those financial goals. So I hope this was helpful for you. If you have any questions about, really understanding your financial situation, if you feel like I didn't address something, then let me know in the comments below, because I definitely will address it for you. And if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and I'll see you next time with an all new video.